Really suffering after that accident with some PTSD and some flashbacks of the crash, and waking up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep through the night and stuff like that, and it was really eating at me. And then seeing doctors and therapists, and when I got back on the bike, felt like that's the only time where I had nothing in life to worry about. That's when life felt silent. That's when it felt like, for me, that was my getaway in a sense.
We are MX Team Donor, and this is the Grit Reel series.
Who would you credit who has helped you when you felt kind of stuck in this sport? Like, when you've gone through those doubts, or you've really wrestled with like a mental hurdle in this sport?
You have to have a small network of people that you trust to be vulnerable around, that you can tell them 100% how you're feeling and what's going on in your head, type thing. For me, obviously, both my parents, my mom and my dad. Me and my dad have a really tight relationship when it comes to racing and all the stuff that goes along with it, the training, the riding, all that stuff, the mechanic and all that. My mom has zero interest in that, and she's just there to support me. I mean, as for both of them, I mean, it can't be easy. Kids getting wheeled out on a gurney, or your kid's getting loaded into a helicopter 2 times in 3 years. That can't be easy.
Yeah.
When, long story short, when your kid's suffering, it's not easy as a parent. But my mom always stays strong. I mean, she's, with her work background and things like that, she's strong herself, and she always supports me no matter what. And she never tells me to quit or never anything like that. She's always told me, whatever you want in life, go after it and go do it. So she's a huge support, and she helps me in some of my darkest times. And then obviously I have an amazing sister and brother-in-law. They're really great too. I mean, they support me racing, but they also support me a lot when I'm not at the track. And I have a whole network of family that's great. And then I also have a super awesome girlfriend that's she's always there for me. And obviously she has no background in motocross, and she doesn't really care about the results. She just wants me safe, and when I'm in a cast or whatever, she's the one that brightens the days a little more than they feel to be sometimes.
It's probably refreshing to have a girlfriend who is not wrapped up in your identity as a motocross rider, and just to have people that see you for you, so that whether you're in the limelight and you're at the top of it, or whether you're sitting, like you said, in the hospital and feeling like at a really low point, they're there to support you.
100%. And like her and I were talking about this the other day, and she doesn't care if I get first or if I get last. And my mom is the same. My mom doesn't care if I get first or last. My dad's a little different, obviously. He's that parent that wants to see the dream, and he wants me to achieve everything that I want. Which is, that's awesome. You need that person that pushes you to that next level. But I mean, they both, my mom and my girlfriend especially, they're really great, and they're there for me when times feel dark. And they remind me of, as much as a good racer as I am, but also just a good person. I try my best at the track to be a good person, and I also try when I'm not at the track to be a good person in my everyday life.
Can you share like a time or a season that you had a mental low or disappointment? And like, how did you reorient your mindset and work through that?
Number one is 2022. I crashed, and that's when I occurred this wrist injury that I'm going through currently. And it was really, really dark for a while there. Collapsed the lung and did a whole bunch of other stuff as well that I didn't even really ever put out there. And I was really beat up in a cast for quite a while, and it was pretty dark. And then kind of, with my mom and at the time seeing a couple therapists, stuff like that, trying to just help get through it. I was really suffering after that accident with some PTSD and some flashbacks of the crash, and waking up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep through the night and stuff like that. And it was really eating at me. And then, yeah, seeing doctors and therapists and talk through it that way. And then when I got back on the bike, it felt like that's the only time where I had nothing in life to worry about. That's when life felt silent. That's when it felt like, for me, that was my getaway in a sense. Obviously still worrying about getting hurt. Still to this day, I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I go on the track, it crosses my mind, don't get hurt, don't crash.
Of course.
And that's just 10 years of breaking bones in a row.
Yeah.
Does that to you.
Yeah.
But when you're in these down times and you go on your phone and you look at videos of you racing, and it's like, damn, I have a really cool job, or I do a really cool sport, or you have these cool people that message you and can I have your jersey, or you see people and I want a poster signed. And how many times in your life can you say that you've been asked for your autograph? Not many people can say that, and that's something I try to cherish and remember, that it's not forever. It's one day it's going to go away, and who is Sam Gaynor one day? This hopefully not for a long time, but it's going to happen one day. So when I'm in those dark times, I try to remember that I do make an impact in the sport in a positive manner, and I need to fight as hard as I can to get back to the track and get back racing. So number one, I can keep myself happy, but also just continue to get back to the sport. Giving back to people really makes me happy. So that's the stuff that keeps me going, is when I'm at the national and the fans are hanging over the fence for me, and I can tell it's for me, or when I'm on the podium and people are cheering when I walk on the podium, it's a feeling that you don't get that anywhere else in this world. I've done a lot of things in my life, and you don't get the feeling of when the victory. This past March, having a pretty major surgery, and was in a cast for 3.5 months, and then got out of a cast 2 weeks before the Gopher Dunes National, and to be standing on the podium, it's only pre-mix, but still to be standing on the top step was almost brought some tears to the eyes of, you fought so hard for this, and I'll always continue to fight no matter what. I'm not one to give up.
I remember being at the race, and I think I had talked to your dad at a previous race about how are you doing, how are things going, and then I heard, oh yeah, Sam's racing today, and I was like, what? And then, oh yeah, Sam's like killing it, and then wow, you came back and you were tackling everything that you were dealing with still not knowing what's going on with your wrist, right, and everything, but you came back hard, and it was like, oh wow, this is really cool.
When the doctor told me the surgery didn't work, we can cut off the cast and go do whatever you want for the summer until your next surgery, I took that pretty seriously, and I try to look at that situation as, this is my opportunity to show the younger generation that you can fight through anything, whether it's mentally or whether it's physically. It's, for me, it's physical pain every single day. Even when I'm not at the track, I'm in physical pain every single day, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. But it's something that, if I let it keep me down, then, I'm just going to be miserable, and it's just going to make my days even harder. But if I can just remember that it's temporary and I can fight through this, then it makes it just a little bit easier.
I didn't realize that you're in pain all the time.
Yeah, no, it's 24/7 pain. I'm really lucky to have some great people in my corner. Steve Sims has been helping me huge, and obviously he doesn't help with the pain directly, but he's someone that he's been through a lot in his life. 2.5 years ago, I think it was, he was fighting for his life. He got in an accident, and it was really bad, and he's someone that I really connect with. Obviously, he was my race team manager, and we connect on that level, but we're also, really good friends, and we hang out when, dirt bikes aren't involved. We go out for dinner with each other, and he got me set up with physio and Shelburne Physio, which they're a super big help right now to manage the pain. But yeah, it's 100%. It's pain every day, and it's just kind of one of those things you gotta figure out how much pain you can deal with, and I try my best to remember that pain is just temporary, and sometimes I try to remind myself that pain just reminds you you're alive.
I would love to chat a little bit about the Pro for a Day adventure that came about. Was that Ryan's idea? Was that your idea? Was it your dad's idea? Or how did that come about?
Yeah, it was actually my dad's idea. Well, not way back, but about 10, 15 years ago. I think it was one of the motocross magazine platforms. They did something pretty similar to it, but it was for pros. So it was like for privateer pros, and they could go under this tent, and you got to feel like a factory pro rider for a day. So it was more like for the actual pro riders. So we thought we'd put a bit of a twist on it, and kind of give back to the younger side of the sport. I mean, the sport, we want it to continue to grow, and as me and my dad and us as a family, we never want to see the sport go away. It's brought us to so many cool places, and we've met so many cool people. So we want to kind of try our best to be those people to other people type thing, and for families that are just starting in the sport that maybe don't know a ton, they don't have a lot of experience. Like I said, me and my dad, when we first started, we didn't even know there was two motos. So if we had someone that was like, this is kind of what we've been through, and this is our experiences, we'll tell you our stories, and you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can listen, soak it all in, and try to apply it to you type thing. So that's kind of where the idea stemmed from. My dad brought it to me, asked me what I thought of it. I said it was a great idea. So we presented it to Ryan, just asking if we could come to his events and do it, especially knowing that I was going to be in a cast and I wasn't going to be at the races racing. I still wanted to have my presence there and still show my face and still be able to talk to people and stuff. So it was while I was in a cast after my last surgery is when it all came through. And then Ryan jumped on board. He was super awesome, and then the idea just kept getting bigger, and it was, let's hire a photographer so that the kids get interviews and they really feel like a pro. It just kept growing, and it was awesome too. Like, we didn't have just kids. We also had a couple of vet riders, which was super cool because, as a dad or even just a vet rider, you don't get a ton of time to yourself. And they don't really seem to, as a vet rider, they don't seem to always want to power wash their bikes or whatever. So it's kind of cool feeling for them to come in. My dad works on their bikes, does all that stuff. And I kind of try to talk to them with what I see on the track and what they could work on to help them get to the next level. And then at nighttime when the races aren't happening, we all sit around and talk about our experiences, talk about just races in general, and get to know people better. We've met so many great people through the program this year. People that, we probably wouldn't have got to meet if we didn't do it. So it's really cool. And we built like a kind of like another second little family with all the people. Those people, it wasn't like they just did our Pro for a Day and then never came back. They always come back every weekend and say hi, and they cheer for me at my races and I cheer for them at theirs, which is super awesome. And it's cool to just bring the Moto family even tighter than it already is. So yeah,
it would be neat. It'll be neat to see if maybe other riders will be inspired by that venture that you guys came up with. And if you hadn't had that really hard thing happen in your life that prevented, because if you'd been racing, you wouldn't have been doing that, right?
It's hard for pros to give back and do the training and do the riding and all that stuff. So especially me, when I wasn't allowed to do anything and I was just sitting in a cast, how can I still be at the track? And how, and this Pro for a Day was the best option. And it was a ton of fun. Like I said, we got to meet some amazing people, got to give amazing advice, and made some amazing memories, which, I hope, I know they'll last with me and my dad for a lifetime. And I also hope that they last with all of our participants for a lifetime.
What is an outlet that helps you navigate the ups and downs of motocross?
My main one is woodworking. I have my own little little business, 80 Grit Woodworking, which is kind of been a thing for like 5-6 years, and then I stopped for a couple of years. Just life got busy, we moved, injuries, all that stuff. So it stopped for a bit. And then, yeah, about a year and a half ago, started it back up, but a little more seriously, and not even more seriously, but just more, I guess, more drive to do it, if you want to say. Yeah, it's been really cool. I mean, it's cool to create things that, you get to build things that it's cool when you're done. It's like, I built that. To learn a lot of new things, that's for sure. I get to meet a whole bunch of new people from the woodworking industry. It's just like the moto community. It's its own community, so it's pretty cool. It's it's what gets me through my days, especially this past spring. It got me through a lot of dark days when I was in a cast, and I was technically not supposed to be doing anything, but it was my outlet that brought a smile to my face and made the days a little easier.
For any young riders who look up to you, or maybe riders your own age who look up to you and are pursuing a pro dream, what would you say to them to kind of keep in mind in their planning of that dream?
It's not smooth, if that makes sense. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be things that slow it down. Since 2020, my biggest goal has been to get back on a 450. It's now 2024 going into 2025, and I'm still not there, but that's the goal for me. That's my biggest goal right now, is just to get back on my 450. Don't give up when it's hard. If you think you're going to race motocross and never get hurt, I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen. So you got to realize that things are going to happen, and just when you're laying in that hospital bed when you hurt, or when even if you watch a friend crash and get hurt and it gets to you mentally or something, you just got to remember that you got to dig deep. You can't give up when it's hard. You can't let one day make or break your goal. You can win at Walton Transcan, and don't get too high on the highs, don't get too low on the lows. Don't be over the moon that you won this race and think that you're going to the next level. Obviously, it's going to help you, but at the same point, when you're at your lowest of lows, don't let it beat you up, and don't let that define who you are. Keep pushing through everything that you go through.
What's something that you're proud of this season, and what's the goal that you have for yourself moving forward?
The biggest thing I'm proud of this past year is just persevering after my surgery. It was it is the biggest surgery I've ever had. 8.5 hour surgery, and that's something that's not easy to recover from. And it wasn't just my arm, it was also my leg from the bone graft. So just coming back from that was honestly something I was really proud of myself, to be able to be back at the track racing, and then also achieve what I achieved is something that I was super proud of myself for. And then also get through the whole year healthy. That was really good. And then goals moving forward is just to get back on the 450. I have surgery, and then after that it's do everything the doctor says and try to be healthy so I can get back to the races next year and get back on the 450 like my goal has been for the last 4 years, and just see what I can do, and just continue to put my best foot forward and give it my all. So we're about 2 weeks post-op. Doctor said surgery was a little more difficult than what they were hoping, but they're happy with the end result, which is good. Just went for my 2-week checkup last week, and everything's looking good. Everything's still in place, which is really good. This is a super rare surgery. I think it's only been done about 50 to 60 times in the world from what I know. And I've had it twice now, once in March and once now. So This one was a little more in depth. They had to, when they went into my leg, they had to cut the muscle off my femur, flip it out of my leg, and kind of carved me more than they did in March. But so I'm definitely a little bit sore, but relatively, honestly, pretty good. Starting to get around now, and I'm just looking forward to being back healthy and being able to get back out there and do what I love, and also just be healthy in general. But yeah, no, everything's looking good right now, and super happy with how it's going. Thank you everyone for watching this crazy fun ride on the Grit Reels series. It's been a lot of fun for me, and I hope it helps some other people, and I really look forward to watching this series grow and seeing what all the other athletes have to say. Have fun watching the Grit Reels series.